Good morning. Good morning. Give me a second. Here we go. And as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here as I get everything going. Oh, I'm writing the wrong word. Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning. And give me a chance to pull this up on my phone really quick so that I can see what's going on a little bit easier. Oh, there we go. Make sure that you say hello. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Georgia, and still quite cold, but beautiful. And I did go out with the dog this morning, and it was great. Good morning over on Instagram. Good morning, Sandra. Great to see you here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm sorry for being a few minutes late getting on here. I was trying to get everything copied and pasted, and it was not working out quite the same way as it normally does. It seems like there's so many hoops to jump through now to get all of this stuff going, but it's worth it so that I can be here in front of you guys. So let's go ahead and go for the affirmation. I trust in the power of silence and stillness. By allowing, I create space for my deepest desires to unfold naturally and effortlessly. And that comes from me this morning. I was listening to something on YouTube, and I think it was, who was it this morning? I was more than one, but one of them was Abraham Hicks, and I can't recall the other one, but it really doesn't matter. The thing is that there were several things that were said that brought me back to the thinking about this. Because one of the things that I tell you guys all the time is that how important it is before you start journaling to sit in silence and still the quiet, get all that chatter in your mind quieted down a little bit so that you can allow your inner guidance, your God voice to come forth, right? But the thing is that if we trust that that is true for journaling, what if it's true for everything? Most of the time, we're chasing what we think we're supposed to do next, right? And a lot of times, the thing is we do have to know and go for what we're going to do next. So I'm not saying that you don't make a move. I'm saying you do it from an inspired place. So you trust that when you get silent and still and you allow that inner guidance to your God voice to come forth. So if there's something that you're wanting to do, let's say in your business, and you've got all these things running around in your head about the next steps. And it's, I need to do this, I got to do that. I've got a note here, I've got a note. And I can be really guilty of that sometimes too. See, here's some of the stuff from yesterday, right? I just have a notebook, and I used to have a little bitty notebook that I wrote things on, but now my list is bigger. But it's not like I have 1,000 things on my to-do list like I used to do, but I have more strategic things. But even though I have all these things written down, I have allowed myself to, before I start working on one of the things, I'll take a few moments in silence and say, okay, what is it that I'm expecting from this? What is it that I can let go of expectations and do this and just allow the synchronicities and things to show up, right? And so it's just a different way of tackling your to-do list, right? It's getting into that silent and stillness place, and then just allowing it. And like anytime before I get on a live, like with you guys, and anytime like the programs and stuff that I've been doing recently, that I've been teaching, and I have partners in those. But anytime we are getting on the call and beginning, we set an intention for what do we want to be emanating from us? What's the vibration we want to be sharing in this space? And so I would like to invite you to be more mindful of how powerful it is to get still and silent and just allow, because it makes a huge difference as you're going through your day. For one thing, a lot of times we've got a list of things and we're going so fast that there's a stress, and it's that fight or flight that's going on in our bodies, right? So that means when you sit down for your lunch or your dinner and you've been like this all day long, you're not even digesting your food the way you're supposed to. So think about that. If you're all these things that you're doing are not producing really what you want to, which is health, happiness, your mind clear, right? Then it's time to reset and regroup and say, okay, let's just try this and see what the difference it makes. So over here on Instagram, Sandra, what do you think? Are you open to trying just today anything that you're about to do on your to-do list, that you take a moment for silence and just say, okay, I'm going to allow the best thing possible to come from doing this? And like for one of the programs, the Mining Your Acres of Diamonds that Sue and I are doing, it's before we get on the call the other day, because we meet on Mondays, we set our intention to exceed everybody's expectations, no matter what their expectations are, that we delivered enough material and enough insight for them that they would think, oh, I'm so glad I showed up for this call, right? And so, maybe for you, it might be that I want to do a live in a group or something, but I want to come at it from a place of, this is amazing. I get to do this. Because so many times we're going through life with coulda, shoulda, wouldas, have tos, and right. And so we want to trust that we're allowing. So if we're allowing, things are coming to us instead of us grabbing for them, right? And so I like to think, if you've got a puppy, okay, and you want to grab that puppy and it runs and you chase it, what happens? It keeps running faster and faster, and it becomes a game of staying as far away as possible, right? And so I kind of feel like sometimes that's what's happening to us in life, is that we are chasing something, and so it's staying very elusive. And so if you can trust that being silent and still, quiet, and just being you and allowing, then your deepest desires can unfold naturally and effortlessly. Doesn't that feel so much better? I mean, the relaxation of it. Yes, yes. I take time every morning to sit in silence and meditate and pray for guidance for that day. Oh, yes. Yay. I love that. I love that. And, I journal when I first wake up in the morning. Now, I will admit this morning I didn't do it because it seemed like I was having to hurry to get to some things. So I'll be journaling when I get finished with this. But everything we do is taking some time in silence. Like it is it, oh, I wish I could remember. I don't remember if it's it's not Buddha. Is it Gandhi? I don't remember, but it's one of those people, one of those types of people, right? The very enlightened, the very intuitive people. And I'll have to check and see who it is. And you may know, Sandra. But the thing is that he was saying one day that he had so much to do, So he needed to spend 2 hours in meditation instead of one. And a lot of times, the way we look at things is usually we either skip it, like I did this morning, I admit, or we shorten it, right? Now, I didn't skip my meditation, I skipped my journaling, but I will do it today. And I will do it in this quiet, calm place, allowing, right? And it's getting into this space of our expectations are when we allow, it just comes, right? We're not swimming against the current. We're not chasing the idea. And it's not just puppies. It's like relationships. If you feel like you have to chase the person to get them to be part of your world, they're going to run for the hills, right? And I feel like there's so much about our world that is that way. And one of the things, I don't know how religious you are, but it's like we have to trust that once we've, found what it is that we want to do, that the path is going to unfold. But we have to get in silence and stillness and allowing, because otherwise we're forcing. And when we force things, we're most of the time we're pushing a boulder uphill and we're making things harder. So let's create it to where it's unflowing naturally and effortlessly. It just smooths everything out, right? All right, now I'm going to go ahead and grab the journal prompt. Oh, good. I was thinking, I hope it all goes in the right place. All right, so our journal prompt for today is reflective, right? When have you experienced positive outcomes from surrendering and allowing rather than forcing? So go back and look and think. Some of the positive outcomes that you've had, did it happen when you finally just let go and said, okay, let's just make this happen. Let's just allow it to flow. What's the thing that's coming up for me now? And this has happened to me so many times. It's once I stepped back and just allowed, I'd get a phone call. Somebody would reach out. Something would happen to put me on the path of where I was wanting to go. But when I was trying so hard, none of that was happening. And when we're constantly in motion and we're looking for all the things that we're supposed to do, then, not only are we not allowing, but I talk all the time about our 2000 bits per second that we are privy to in our lives. If we're forcing things, it implies to our subconscious mind that it's hard and that it's not here yet, that we're still trying to find it and work with it, right? And so what's going to show up for us is evidence of how far away it is, when really it's right here now. It's just we have to be open and allowing for it to come. So when you look at this, when have you experienced positive outcomes from surrendering and allowing rather than forcing? That's a wonderful thing to start remembering, because that shows us the evidence of how that has played out, right? And then you go another step and describe what was the internal shift that happened, and then the external results of practicing stillness. So no, Sandra, you said that you take time every morning to sit in silence and meditate and pray for guidance for the day. So can you look back at some time in your life where you might have been forcing things, and then when you let go, everything fell into place? It's like having that puzzle that you just can't seem to get the pieces to work. But when you walk away and then you come back, it's like all of a sudden everything makes sense. And I do that with painting sometimes, where I'll be doing a painting and it's like I just cannot get what I see in my head onto the canvas. And sometimes I'll get frustrated with it. I'll walk away. And then when I come back a little bit later and I've just released, It is what it is. And I go back, then suddenly it just feels like I know exactly what to do to get the picture to look like what I want to, right? And so it's this space of allowing is so powerful, even though it's sometimes it feels counterintuitive. It feels like you're um, you're doing something. Hold on, I just realized I hadn't done something here. Hold on. Up, up. Okay. Um, so sometimes when you're in silence and you're allowing, you feel like you're supposed to be doing more. And that comes from one of our limiting beliefs, right? And limiting beliefs are what rule our world, really, until we can get a handle on them and we can put in a more powerful belief, right? So I know for me, one of my limiting beliefs for the longest time was that if I didn't work hard for it, I didn't deserve it. So if it came too easy, I thought, ooh, I don't think I deserved that. Now, what does that do? That makes everything hard because the only way you can deserve it if it's hard to come by. And I had another limiting belief of if um, if it came too easy, then people did not respect the fact that I had done something powerful to get that, right? And so there's tons of limiting beliefs. I learned early on that you have to work hard for your money. I learned early on that people that money doesn't grow on trees, and that people that have a lot of money sometimes are um, think they're above the law. People with a lot of money are not kind people, right? So there's all these limiting beliefs that were holding me back tremendously in my life. And so that's one of the things that I work with my clients, with limiting beliefs. And we have limiting beliefs about everything, not just money, right? We have limiting beliefs about what we believe our body can do, what we believe relationships can be. So our limiting beliefs really, really hold us back. And so let's start allowing things to flow in a way that our limiting beliefs are just kind of taking a back seat. And as they get to where their voice is a little bit less and a little bit less and a little bit less, then it makes it easier to create new beliefs. But that's one of the things that I do with hypnosis. I make it happen a lot faster. And so for me, I've had a coach, I've had a hypnotist, I've had all those things that I work with. Right now, I'm working with a nutritionist. I'm doing the things that I know would benefit me to help me because I can't do it all by myself. I mean, we can try, we can attempt to do things better by ourselves, but it's a long, long road when we're doing it ourselves. And I want you to be able to move mountains quicker, right? All right, so I'm going to go back to our affirmation. I trust in the power of silence and stillness. Power of silence and stillness. By allowing, I create space for my deepest desires to unfold naturally and effortlessly. Just slow down. There's the phrase that goes around a lot of times now, it's slow down to speed up. And that's what it means. Slow down, recalibrate, get in touch with you, your thoughts, your inner guidance. And then that's when things start showing up for you. That's when the allowing, it just unfolds. And as long as you're open as you're being allowing, right? Then as it shows up, you'll take a hold of it and you'll create something with it. Because sitting there and allowing and then letting thoughts just whoop, 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 but you do nothing, that's not going to create anything, right? It's the stillness and the allowing and the silence helps you get into your God voice, your power of your subconscious mind, your inner guidance, but that's all there to guide you to something. And when you're open to it and things start coming, in the stillness and the silence, you know the right next step and you do it. And then the right next step will show up. And then the next step, right? Not to say that there's not a misstep here and there, because we're human for one thing. And I say all the time that opportunities show up as obstacles a lot of times, or what feels like an obstacle, but it's not really an obstacle. It's a joyous journey in a different direction. So start today trusting in the power of silence and stillness. Find time to get silent and still. And just ask yourself, with the things that I have as goals and desires in my life, what's the next step? And then just get in silence and allow all these things to come to you, creating space for your deepest desires to unfold naturally and effortlessly. Because it can. And doesn't that feel so much better than speeding and running into walls and having to change routes and running into walls and constantly be tick, 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 tick. This is what I got to do, what I got to do, what I got to do. So even if you only do it for today, play with it today. Life is a game, right? And we can change the rules and we can play it however we want to. So today, play the game with silence and stillness and see how things show up for you, right? So then with our journal prompt, when have you experienced positive outcomes from surrendering and allowing rather than forcing? Now, most of us can find at least one. So look through your memory banks and see, where did something just miraculously, something happened that changed everything when you let it go, when you surrendered and allowed instead of forcing. And this is not the same thing, but I'm going to share it anyway. Not too long ago, just maybe a week or so ago, I lost one of my earrings. And it was when I was out walking with the dog. I had it on. And of course, it was cold. I had on a hat and I had on a scarf and this jacket and everything. Well, then a little bit later, when I went to take my earrings out of my ear, my sapphire and diamond earring was missing. And I thought, oh no, I must have caught it on my hat. I must have, maybe it was in my jacket. I went and checked the scarf. I went and checked the hat. I went and checked the jacket. It wasn't there. I looked all around the floor. I walked around the house and I thought, okay, if I dropped it while I was out walking, there's no telling. It's probably run over by a car. It's probably buried under some leaves. So it's gone, right? So I said, okay, it just is what it is. So I'm going to just allow that to be as it is. And maybe that means that I wasn't appreciating it enough. Maybe that means that something new is going to come in its place. So I just let it go and decided it was going to be fine, whatever, right? And once I let it go, it didn't happen immediately, but the next day I'm doing something, all of a sudden I look down and there it is. And so it was there the whole time. When I was searching and looking, it was right there, but I couldn't see it because I was so looking and searching. But when I just released it and said, okay, I'll get a new one, the next one will be better, or I'll find it, whatever, and I just simply let it go, then I found it. And so there's things that are right in front of us all the time that we don't see because we're so busy being busy. But when you can take some time to get into the stillness and the silence and allowing, it's there. It's right there. So when you look back at the time that you had a positive outcome from surrendering and allowing rather than forcing, then I want you to take it a step further and then describe what was the internal shift that had to take place within you. And then what was the external results, the results of practicing stillness. And I just shared that with the jewelry. I mean, it happens with everything, right? And so spend some time today playing with this and just see how things change, how things inspire you, right? Because remember, when we chase, things move away. When we get still and allow, things come to us. So, like I say, every day, get your notebook out, your journal out, put the date, the affirmation in the journal prompt, and then take a few moments, 10 to 15 minutes in total silence, and just allow all of those thoughts. Your subconscious mind, your conscious mind already knows what this says, right? You don't have to be rehearsing it in your mind, asking the question over and over again, right? It already knows. And so that when you're in the silence, you're quieting the chatter. So you're focusing on your breath. If you still find chatter going on in your mind, then you focus on some sounds in the room. Bring yourself back to your breath. If you need to, you count your breaths, or you say, breathe in, breathe out in your mind, right? You just focus on your breath, the silence, the stillness. And that you can't think two thoughts at the same time. So if you're focused on your breath, you can't be thinking all these things. But what you'll notice, especially if you're new to this, is that you'll be breathing in and out and in and out. And then all of a sudden you find that you've been wondering in your mind for a while about what's for dinner, or, that phone call you need to make, or that email. Maybe it's a conversation you had yesterday, or you think you're going to be having in a little bit. It will all start. And then you come back to the stillness as soon as you notice it. You don't critique it. You don't judge it. You just say, okay, back to my breath. And then if it's still going, then locate what are the sounds in my room? What are the sounds that I hear outside? I hear a plane going over right now. And you can focus on those things and then come back to the breath. And when your timer goes off, that's when you start writing your answers to this. And just allow whatever comes up, because when you've tapped into that inner guidance, that inner knowing, there'll be things that will pop up that you did not even think it was an outcome that came from surrender. So you might be really surprised at the thoughts that'll come up. And there may be more that come up throughout the day. A lot of times I keep, where's my little notebook I have? I don't see it right now. I keep a little notebook that I keep with me somewhere. I've put something on top of it, I assume. But I keep a notebook that I will write down things in the day if something pops up, so that I can write it down, or I'll use my voice notes on my phone and log something, a thought. I do that when I'm in the car driving sometimes, because you can't write things down. A thought will pop in my head. So I just ask my phone to make a note of it. And then when I get home, I look and see what those notes are for the day. And I move them into a little space in my notes so that they're all together in one piece. And that's where a lot of these affirmations and journal prompts come from, is the the thoughts that come to me throughout the day, and especially in the morning when I'm first up and I'm doing things and I'm listening to podcasts and YouTube things and audiobooks, things will just pop in and I make a note of it as soon as possible. So when you're allowing all of those things to happen, it makes a huge difference. And make sure you end it with describing what you think the internal shift was that helped you get the external results. And what were those external results? I know I've had so many huge mind shifts in my world just in the past year that it's mind-boggling to think of. And I know that this year is going to be even bigger and even more because I just know I'm allowing it to be that way. I'm choosing it to be that way. I'm deciding to have it be that way. All right. So, what is the time? Okay. So I hope, I see people, are there several people watching, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And if you have something that you want to share in the comments, definitely do so, because this will be up in the group, and you can share your thoughts. I would love to hear them. Let me know how, if you play with this today, how it works out for you, what it opens up for you. So today, I wish you to have an amazing internal shift in your world that creates a better external environment and an internal environment as well. So you have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Oh, while I'm remembering, just a reminder that Monday at 2 p.m., Jamie B is the group expert that's going to be in talking to us. And she's a writer. She helps people write their books. She does so much that it is so eye-opening to speak to her, and I can't wait to have her in the group to share with you guys. I'm talking to her about maybe helping me write my book. And so there's a lot of amazing things that are happening there. And so definitely check out the events section. There is the event there that will allow you to sign up to be there, so you'll get the reminders. But otherwise, just know that Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, Jamie B will be here with amazing content for you guys. And if you've ever thought about telling your story, writing your book, or anything like that, then you definitely want to be there. And one other thing really quick, I just remembered that there are still some spots open in the Find Your Voice challenge. And I am really excited because I have a cohort in there. So I have a group of people that are in my little WhatsApp group, and I'm connecting with them and I'm helping them, encouraging them. And I would love to encourage you and help you as you are attempting to find your voice and get it out there more so that you can share with the world, and share with your community, with you. It's getting your voice inside yourself changed as well. So if that's something that you're interested in finding more information about it, just put voice in the comments and I will definitely reach out, or you can direct message me and I will make sure that you get everything you need. All right. Have an amazing, have an amazing, powerful internal shift day. Mwah. Love you guys.